Hey girl, welcome to Rooted Radiance, the women's health podcast dedicated to helping you improve your health, grow, and radiate with confidence. Last episode, I talked about the foundational four minerals for your health. And if you haven't listened to that, go back to episode 9 and then come back here. And today we're taking it deeper because when you understand how minerals actually work in your body, you start to see why they're truly your secret sauce for feeling like your best self. So if you've dealt with low energy, stubborn symptoms, or you just want to support your body in a more intentional, nourishing way, this episode is going to give you some clarity, confidence, and some simple steps that you can actually implement today. So let's get into it. Now, one of the most important ones that I need to talk about is going to be iron. Iron is a mineral that supports our red blood cell production, helps with oxygen transportation in the body, helps with energy metabolism, our neurotransmitters, and the synthesis of collagen. It's also linked with thyroid health. So low iron levels in the body can impede thyroid hormone conversion and cause thyroid issues. And thyroid issues in and of themselves can actually lead to low iron in the body as well. Women aged 19 to 50 need 18 milligrams a day, while adult men only need 8 milligrams. As women, we need more because of our menstrual cycles, and because of that, we're more at risk for iron deficiency. Once you've transitioned from reproductive age through perimenopause, and now you're postmenopausal, your needs will then reflect the same as adult men. So when you're postmenopausal, you'll just need 8 milligrams a day because, again, you're not having menstrual cycles, you're not having that significant bleeding on a monthly basis. So you just don't need quite as much. Iron can be found in foods like poultry, red meat, oysters, beans, dark leafy greens, fortified cereals, tofu, nuts, potatoes, and more. When you're eating iron-rich foods, whether it's an animal or a plant-based source, I always suggest pairing them with a vitamin C-rich food because vitamin C can help with the absorption of iron. Some vitamin C-rich foods would be bell peppers, broccoli, strawberries, citrus fruit, kiwi, or parsley. Now, you can get iron from both of the animal and the plant-based sources, but just know that the iron that is in animal sources is called heme iron. It is more absorbable than the non-heme iron found in plant foods. However, you can get iron from both sources, and regardless of the source, again, always pair them with a vitamin C rich food. Now, the other mineral I need to talk about is zinc. Zinc is a mineral that's vital for our immune system, our skin health, growth and development, wound healing, DNA synthesis, and it's needed for several different enzyme reactions in the body. Zinc is found in foods like oysters, crab and other shellfish, beef and bison, poultry, beans, dairy products, pumpkin seeds, lentils, and whole grains like oats and others. Taking too much zinc, like in a supplement, so if you're specifically just taking zinc itself, can actually cause deficiencies in other nutrients like copper and iron. There's a very delicate balance with zinc and copper in the body. So it's really important to make sure that you have a good balance between the two and that you're not just overdosing on one and then causing a deficiency in the other. And again, this can also interfere with like thyroid, energy metabolism, etc. Now, the RDA for women for zinc is 8 milligrams a day, and adult men need 11 milligrams. So we need just a little bit less than men do. But again, it's a really important nutrient. Now, copper is another mineral that is important. Okay, I just mentioned zinc and that balance between zinc and copper being very important. So, copper is a mineral that we need and it helps to mobilize stored iron. So, it is really important for our iron conversions, where we're utilizing iron, supports blood health, supports our thyroid hormone conversion. It also helps with collagen production. And it can support fertility if it's balanced with zinc. If we have too much copper, it can actually impede fertility or cause infertility issues. So, for example, if you've ever heard of like the copper IUD, that's a non hormonal birth control. It utilizes that large amount of copper to impede the sperm to be able to get inside of our egg and actually make a baby. So it prevents that. So similarly, if you have too much copper, that can cause issues for you. You can get copper in foods such as potatoes, beans, sunflower seeds, peas, dark chocolate, peanuts, and shellfish. So both adult men and women need 900 micrograms of copper every single day. That is the recommended amount to take. And that is microgram, that's not milligram. So very distinct difference. It's a very small, what we would call like a trace mineral that we need. Okay, the next mineral that you need to know is selenium. So selenium is a mineral that's important for your thyroid hormone conversion. In future episodes, I'll dive deeper into thyroid health, but that's for another time. So selenium is an antioxidant as well, and it can actually protect your thyroid from any damage, especially if you have an autoimmune thyroid condition like Hashimoto's or Graves'. One of the easiest ways to get your daily selenium needs is by having a couple of Brazil nuts a day. You could also get it in mushrooms, sardines, pork, tuna, beef, poultry, whole grain bread, eggs, cottage cheese, sunflower seeds, and milk or yogurt. And adult men and women need both 55 micrograms a day of selenium. So still need the same amount. And it is also another trace mineral. And then another important mineral is iodine. And this is a mineral that a lot of people aren't even aware of. Iodine is crucial for our metabolism because it directly impacts our thyroid and is important for growth and development. With severe deficiencies of iodine, it causes a swelling in your thyroid that we call a goiter. And this was actually a really big issue in the US. And there used to be a region in our country that was known as the goiter belt. So, because of that issue, in 1924, the United States first had its iodized salt on the market to combat iodine deficiency as a public health measure. And so for a time, iodine deficiency wasn't an issue because of the iodized salt. I did some more research on it, and according to the Mayo Clinic, by 1940, the goiter belt was non-existent. However, things have shifted. Americans' iodine intake has actually decreased 50% since the 1970s. Now, the recommended amount that adults need is 150 micrograms a day. Again, trace mineral, small amount that we need, but it is really important. Like I mentioned, things have shifted and the data is there to support that. And I think there's a few behavior changes that have really led to the change in iodine intake in the United States. Okay, in the 1990s, there was a lot of concern about sodium intake. So people started worrying about their salt intake in their diet due to different heart conditions like hypertension. And that caused people to reduce the amount of salt that they were adding to their foods. So actually like the salt shaker, like on top of their food or while they were cooking. And then I would say in the 2010s, the initial craze of like the pink Himalayan salt and sea salt, right, drew several people to those salts instead of the iodized salt. So I think those two things, and then in combination with ultra processed foods in the American diet, not a lot of those companies use iodized salt. So if you think about it, the craze of the sea salt, the reduction of the salt use in general being related to heart health, and then eating more ultra processed foods that most likely weren't using iodized salts in their formulas all causes reduction. So I think it's really the whole picture of all of that. So all of these changes kind of over time have led to the decrease in Americans' iodine intake. I actually saw a paper that was published in 2025 in the Journal of Nutrition, and they stated that 35% of women of reproductive age and 46% of pregnant females had inadequate intakes of iodine. And that's really important, okay, especially for the pregnant females because they are growing a child. And like I said before, thyroid is super important for growth and development. So we have no idea what impact that actually has on the child, right? So, really important for us both, whether you're pregnant or not pregnant, to get enough. So, some foods that contain iodine, of course, is iodized salts, but also you can get it from seaweed, oysters, fish, yogurt, and milk. So, the minerals that we talked about today are some really important minerals that we need for metabolism and our overall health that sometimes we don't give enough credit to and are more often deficient in women. So, these are some important ones to consider and make sure that you're getting in your diet. We did not cover every single mineral, but these are the most important ones for overall health and specifically just for women. I can do a part three as well if you would like to cover all of the other minerals in our diet. But these are some of the more crucial ones, I would say, because more often than not, women are more prone to deficiencies in the minerals that I talked about today. So, if this episode helped you, it would mean so much to me if you took a moment to leave a 5-star review. It helps Rooted Radiance reach more women who are trying to feel healthier, stronger, and more grounded in their bodies. And if you want to keep learning and improving your health, make sure you're following the show on whichever platform you're listening from so you never miss an episode.